This is Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need from America's mortgage mentor with more than 35 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. You'll learn to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently. Also, be sure to check out Jen's book, Launch: How to Take Your Business to New Heights. Available on Amazon. For a signed copy, contact Jen at jenduplessis.com. Now, here is certified mortgage planner and CEO of Kinetic Spark Consulting, Jen Duplessis.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Mortgage Lending Mastery. I am so excited because I have a special guest with me, Sean Abbananto, and he has such a wonderful story, as well as his wife has a wonderful story that we're going to bring her on later. But I want to share with all of you something really cool that Sean does that I think will help you as a realtor if you're listening, and you as a loan officer if you're listening, because you can help your realtor partners. So, Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jen, so much for having me on. I'm excited to get connected with you and your audience. My wife, Micah, and I are just thrilled to kind of be part of your network now and just to be able to share with everyone what we've discovered that is literally just changing the listings game for realtors and just rocking their business. And we're just happy to be helping people take things to the next level.
I'm so excited. So now you and I have had a little conversation beforehand before we popped on here. In fact, we weren't even going to do a podcast. We were just chit-chatting and learning about each other. And I said, Sean, you got to be on the podcast. So that's where we're at right now. So Sean, one of the things that you were just starting to talk about is the story about the tornado in Oklahoma. So why don't you share with us how this all started and what you're doing now?
Yeah, well, my wife, Micah, is a rock star, and you'll definitely want to have her on. So I don't want to tell too much of her story. I'll just hit some highlights. But she survived the F5 tornado with her 3 children back in 2013. And it really was a life-changing moment for her. She came out of that shelter. She lived right across the street from the elementary school that was hit, where the children were lost. And she realized that her own life, even though she had survived this F5 tornado, her own life was still in quite a bit of a storm. And, she had been married to a gentleman that had really struggled in life with addiction and for 15 years. And she said, I have to change some things to protect my kids. So I'll let her, when she comes on, tell more of the story. But moving forward, she found herself in a place where she did leave him, and she had to find a way to support her kids because she had no support. And she was basically just seeking God and saying, hey, what do I do here? Because I've been a stay-at-home mom. I've worked a little bit, but what do I do? And so he, as he so many times will, reminded her who she was. She had a flashback memory to being a little girl. When her friends would come over, they would help her move furniture. They didn't play with dolls. They didn't do tea parties. They moved her furniture in her bedroom again and again and again and again because she was born and created to be a stager and a designer. Huh. So here, all these years later, she launches a staging company here in Oklahoma City.
So now what did she do before this all happened? What was she doing?
Pretty much a stay-at-home mom. She had spent a couple of years working at a school as an executive assistant to the headmaster, but primarily stay-at-home mom. So she really found herself desperate. I love when she speaks on this at conferences because it's a powerful story of how your life can be turned around when you truly live your dream and your passion. So she came to work for me. This was way before I knew her. I met her because there was a movie called Where Was God? About the tornado, and I knew the producers, and they invited me to a pastor screening, and I learned about her family and that she wanted to do more speaking. And one of my favorite things is I have been speaking and coaching people for 21 years now. I love to help new speakers kind of go from nothing to good or good to great. So I wanted to help her out, and we didn't talk for 2 years until I put a post on Facebook looking for some office space for a new business I was starting. And she reached out and said, hey, do you need work? Help. And so she came to work for us. Oh. So I got to know her that way. And what I realized very quickly is that she had a passion for design and staging. And I said, look, you are so much more than who I see coming in every day helping us here. So I'm basically going to fire you and make you go live your dream. And I'm going to coach you as you do it.
That's
And
awesome.
Jen, as you know, because you coach people, you work with people, you help them take things to the next level.
Yeah.
It's one of our greatest joys is to help people get started and take off. So
Yeah.
what happened over the next 2 years, your listeners, I mean, you want to lock in and hear this because it's going to help them in their business and in their life. So she launches out, and because she was created to do this, because she has a tremendous passion to help realtors and homeowners, her business exploded. She went from no inventory. She had no furniture. She loves to tell this story. She used her own furniture.
Yeah. Your
First
furniture
month.
eventually.
Right.
Right.
One of her pictures she shares during her keynote is she used her patio furniture from outside in the living room.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the living room furniture was on the stage.
Right.
But within a short amount of time, she had purchased about 12 sets. We were buying other staging companies out, and it just exploded because when she started doing consultations for occupied listings, there was something that was happening in the marketplace here in Oklahoma City that was really catching fire and blowing realtors away. Homes that had sat for months and months and months were suddenly selling within days, if not hours, when she was brought in to consult.
Wow.
Or when she was brought in to stage on top of another stager.
Wow.
And
Well, which may have been the realtor too, by the way, because a lot of realtors have that designation. They think they know how to stage, and that could be.
well, and the reality is, God bless them, because a lot of them, they can't afford a stager. And we get it because it's
Right.
expensive. When your average consultation is $250 to $500 a pop, people can't afford that, especially when they're starting out. As you know, most realtors are transitioning in from another career and they're having to start fresh. So one of the things we loved about what we discovered is how to help people really ramp things up through the use of this system. So what happened was these houses, like I said, they were selling, 4 months to 4 days, 14 months to 3 weeks, 6 months to 24 hours. And so during this time, I was selling a house. I put it on the market. It sat for several weeks. I had a lot of showings, but no one was pulling the trigger. And then she finally said, look, you're my boyfriend now. Let me come do what I do.
Right.
And so she did. And long story short, within 12 hours of relisting it and bumping the price $5,000, I had a full offer with the PS on the full offer was, when you get your next full offer, we'll bump ours because we have to have this house.
Right.
So I saw with my own eyes that what she had discovered was something that was very unique. And the cool thing is, as we drilled down, we discovered that it was scientific based.
Awesome. So it wasn't like the creative side of things. It was that. So I have a couple questions for you. So, if we go back 2013, this happens. I'm kind of gauging the time frame. So we're in 2015 to 2016, maybe 17. And the market is recovering. Rates are low. It's not a bad market. It's not great, but it's not a bad market. So was there competition for this? Because, as I'm thinking about the audience listening, whether realtor or lender, we think about all the competition. And to me, it's sounding like a blue ocean strategy, right? It's, I don't care what everybody else is doing. I'm doing something that's completely unique and different, shining a light on her expertise over somebody else's, because I'm thinking a stager is a stager, right?
Right.
There's got to be something that she's doing. And so the scientific part of it is probably what it is. But tell me about the competition at that time. Was the competition heavy for stagers? Did she come into a market that was already saturated, or?
Well, I mean, yes, there were a lot of established stagers here in the metro. And the thing about Oklahoma City back then is we were a hot market. We're one of the fastest growing markets in the country.
Right, because of the recovery from the crisis, yeah.
Well, the recovery and just the fact, with the Oklahoma City, just being real honest, our NBA team being such a good team really put us on the map. And so there were people coming from all over the world wanting to do business here. We had a lot of influx from California and some different places, people moving here and doing a lot of startups. So our market was hot. She was originally called in on trouble properties that wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
And then what realtors discovered is, because what she's doing different, why would I only use this on trouble properties? I'm going to use it with every listing.
Mm-hmm.
And those realtors, once they started doing that and they saw listings moving even faster, without having to do price reductions and all that kind of stuff. They started lining up, and then they created a waiting list, and the waiting list started to get longer. First it was a week, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. And these realtors would say to her, I will not list this property until you consult on it.
That's awesome. Because if they listed it and they sat on there for 2 or 3 months, they might as well not list it at all. Yeah.
Well, and what they would tell the homeowners is this. They'd say, look, we can list it now, but if it sets for 3 months, then you have all the maintenance costs, all that stuff to leave it on the market.
The holding costs and stuff.
Yeah, right. If you just trust me, let's wait a few weeks. Let this woman do what she does, because she is by far the market-ready queen. You'll be blown away at what happens. And so Micah, because she's such a sweetheart, she started to get really stressed out because she can't say no. She wants to help everybody on the planet. Right. She's the Mother Teresa of staging, I think. So I just said to her, look, I said, let me go along with you on these consultations and see what you're doing, because there's something different that you stumbled onto. So I went with 3 consultations with her. And Jen, I was blown away because she was saying the same things, but it was not decor driven. Mm-hmm. It was about balance.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't. So explain that a little more. Yeah,
sure. And definitely when she comes on, she'll really go deep on it. But most stagers or most realtors, when they advise a homeowner how to prepare a house, they focus on the decor. They focus on what's in the house. Where Micah focused on, it wasn't so much what was in the house, it was where it was placed in the house.
Okay.
So the balance of a room was more important than the decor of the room.
Okay.
Now, we didn't understand why people were responding so strongly to this until we continued to do more research. But what I said to her was, look, you're saying the same thing, and it doesn't matter the size of the house, the price point. I mean, you're saying the same thing. You're going in here and creating this balance in these houses, and they're moving very quickly. So as we did research, what we discovered is God created us to respond to symmetry and balance at a higher level than decor. Right. Our subconscious mind, wait for this. This is a statistic that everybody really needs to hear. 95% of the buying decisions are made in our subconscious. Mm-hmm. And our subconscious mind is drawn to balance and symmetry, not decor.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm going to answer a question for your realtors that they've asked a zillion times before. And that is this: why, when a buyer comes into a home and they get all excited in the moment and they're going, oh my God, look at this house, honey. It's perfect. Oh, I love the color of that. Look, little Jimmy will go in that room. Little Susie can go in that room. They've all experienced it. And then that buyer leaves that house and crickets.
Right. Doesn't make an offer.
They never hear from them. They don't make an offer. They move on. Why is that? They've all asked the question, why does that happen? Well, it's because the 5% of the conscious mind was drawn to the decor, got excited in their emotions, but the subconscious, because the house was not balanced, the subconscious got triggered, and there's just something that doesn't feel right, so let's keep looking.
Yeah, and they can't put their finger on it either.
They can't put their finger on it either.
I really liked it, but I don't know. There's something about that house, and that same line is said, right? Yeah. Over and over.
It's mind-blowing. So what we realized is that it was scientific. No one had discovered this. No one was doing this. And the beauty of it is it's teachable.
Yeah.
It's very teachable. So to really make a long story short for everybody, they've been very patient kind of hearing the backstory on this. So like I said, I've had over 20 years of working with people and being in marketing, creating things. So I said, look, let's put this into a program because you're stressing out. And the reality is, you want to help all these people. Well, not only will we be able to help all the people that are on a waiting list currently for you, but we'll be able to launch this nationwide and help people all over the place we've never even met before.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So based upon the world that we live in and the era of HD TV and all that stuff, we invested thousands of dollars. And a part of the story that I'm not even going to tell, but I'll just give them a tidbit before they hear her at some point, is that about a year and a half in, she launched her design business, which exploded. And so now she does that full time, and the staging system is what we have on the side to help realtors. But so she was very fortunate and got to design a $1 million Street of Dreams home here in Oklahoma City. And so we used that home to film in. And so we filmed videos where she basically is going through and doing a home consultation. And so we would set every major room. We would do a before and after, and she would walk through and set everything up. And then we'd do a big recap of every room. So we filmed 8 videos.
Oh, great.
All the major areas of a house. And then we did an 11-minute interview with her where she hits on all the other stuff like pets and kids' toys and all those secrets that she's come up with to make this work. So we said, well, this is great. So we have these HGTV quality videos. They're awesome, but people need more. We need to make it very simple for these sellers to be turned into market-ready stagers. So she created 15 graphics that they print out, and then 6 master lists with little check boxes that they print out. And then as they go through and get things done, they just check off these lists. And we even created a master showings list so that every time the realtor calls and says, hey, we've got a showing in 2 hours or 1 hour, they can go to that list to make sure that everything is perfect and show ready for the realtor.
Great. So I have a question about that too. So how does this compare to feng shui? Because I bet you're being asked about that, because I'm thinking balance, right? And I'm thinking that I know some stagers that go into, well, your house isn't feng shui. It isn't that way. There's not a flow of water that can go through. You have this sofa sitting there and it's blocking that. So how does this compare to feng shui in a scientific manner?
Well, feng shui is great. I think I tried that once at a Panda Express, and, with a little soy sauce, it wasn't bad.
Right.
I think for me, it's just what I've seen take place over the course of the last 2 years and watching all of this in real time work. It's that there just is a balance and symmetry that can be brought to every room. And so we really simplified it in the process. A lot of the graphics will say, don't do this, do this. And so she really spelled it out in a way that a seller would not be stressed out at all.
Right.
Because what we discovered is that we would ask realtors, what is your listing process? And they would say, well, I really don't have one. I kind of just take every home as it is, and I can't afford a stager. So I just go in and kind of give some
advice, like clean this up. Maybe you want to do that. Yeah. And it's very loose.
So, and so to summarize how powerful this is, because realtors are so busy and they're so overwhelmed, that we wanted to make it as simple as possible. So we have a friend that's been a realtor for 28 years, and she bought the system, and we said, look, all you have to do is, we even created an email that realtors just copy and paste and send to their seller. And there's a link in that email where the seller logs into the system. So she says, I love this. And I've done this 28 years. I used to spend on average about 10 hours getting a house ready for pictures.
Yes. And that's what my client does all the time. She spends all of her time doing that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen to this. Your clients are going to love this, because this is how simple we made it for realtors. It is a very affordable monthly subscription that gives them unlimited uses. They can have 1 listing or 100 listings a month. We don't care. Since Micah was a single mom and struggled and had to use her own furniture, we said, even though consultants told us this needs to be priced very high because of the value, we said we want to make it affordable for every single realtor that exists. Because of this, when we heard from someone that's been in the industry like yourself a long time, that there's an 87% turnover every 2 years in the real estate industry, it broke our hearts. That we've got to create something to help people that won't cost them very much. So it's very affordable. But here's the cool part. Yeah, because it's about helping people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So here's the cool part. She said, all I do is send an email and schedule pictures. I send an email and schedule pictures. She goes, this is freaking awesome.
That's cool.
And
so now what does the seller think? What's been the reaction on the seller side? Like, okay, I got this list. I'm paying you, a ton of money to list my house. And then you send me a list. So I'm going to play devil's advocate for just a second. So you send me a list and you want me to do all this, right? And
well, let me tell you,
that's part of it anyway. You can't go and clean their house, for God's sake.
Well, you know what? They're absolutely loving it. And this is why, because no one loves to sell their house. No one loves to move. Everyone stresses out on what they're going to have to do. Everyone wants to get the most money, sell it in the fastest amount of time.
Yep.
So here's a perfect answer to that question. We both spoke at a realtor conference. Our good friends, Jessica and Randy of the Mega Moms, we spoke at their conference. And the first day Micah spoke, and the second day I spoke. Well, the first day when she spoke, there was a realtor that said, I have to have this. I just got a listing. So she got the system, the Get Your House Market Ready system. She sent it to her seller that evening. That evening, the seller got it. She logged in. She watched all the videos. She printed everything out. She sends a message to her realtor that evening and says, oh my God, thank you so much. I was so stressed out. This is so easy to follow. It's so simple. This is perfect. It just took all the stress out. So this gal comes and she hunts us down the next morning and says, it worked just like you said.
It just worked overnight. Right.
It just took all the stress out. And so the beauty of this is it simplified the process, the listing process for the realtor and the seller. It's taken the stress out for both. And it's created, and you're going to love this as a coach, it's created consistency in the process.
Yeah.
And that always increases success.
Yeah.
So that's what we've created, a very simple way, but very powerful way to take the listing process to the next level.
Love it.
Now, the other cool part for realtors that use this system is now they have a way to set themselves apart from other realtors in their market. Because if you're realtor A and you go up against realtor B, you say to that listing, I have a free gift I'm going to give you. It's called the Get Your House Market Ready system. It's by the Market Ready Queen, the best market ready expert in the United States. I'm just going to give it to you for free. It's going to walk you step by step, room by room on how to get your house market ready. The other person doesn't have that. You're going to get the listing. People are signing up based upon the fact that there is now a tool, this powerful tool that's simple to follow, that will get their house market ready and take the stress out. And the beauty of it is that normal staged houses sell 79% faster and for 6 to 25% more money. That's a normally staged house where the stager focused on decor, not what Micah has discovered with the science of staging. So it's been a powerful thing that's helping so many people, and we're just so excited to see the success that people are having with it.
I love it. So, I'm thinking, if you're listening in and you're a realtor, I mean, this is a no-brainer, right? But if you're a loan officer, and I've said this 1,000 times, I think that realtors, when they go to realtor school, they are told a couple things. When a loan officer comes up to you, just tell them you're a listing agent, because that'll make them go away. Tell them you already work with a lender and they'll go away, and tell them you're a listing agent and they'll go away, right? And I have a system for listings that I work with for how a loan officer can work with a listing agent. This is another tool in that toolbox. This is another tool to give to your realtors that don't know about it and spread the word, but also to have statistics on how much faster they're going to be able to sell and how many more listings they'll be able to get as a result of that.
Well, and that's the beauty of it, because you get it. And I'm going to tell you right now, we have had mortgage lenders get so excited about this, title companies, real estate photographers, they're all coming on board. They're all sharing it with their realtor clients, because photographers want that house to look as best as it can be. So many times they show up and it's not really truly market ready, and they have to take the pictures anyway. And then the house sets, because everyone shops online. Everyone goes on and has that first impression. And if I'm looking on my laptop at a house and the house is unbalanced, so that subconscious is not getting triggered,
you move on.
You got to move on to the next one.
Yeah, you just move it, click next.
Yeah, so for all your mortgage lenders and everyone that listens to you and follows you, this is a no-brainer to share with all their realtor clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited. Well, and I'm speaking at a mortgage company here in the next couple of weeks, and I can't wait. I'm going to share this with them. I'm going to give it as a little bonus. Like, hey, I got a bonus thing. If you're interested in it, let me tell you what it is. Okay, so we're going to put the link in our show notes, right? And so that anybody who has any interest in it can go and find out about it and share it. And we'll also put there how to get a hold of you guys if they have any questions, or how to get a hold of your wife, Micah. So I just want to say thank you so much, Sean, for joining us today in this impromptu podcast that, again, it's about giving more value to my listeners so that they can succeed as well. And so I really thank you for taking time to join us today.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. And like I said, we're just excited to be new friends and to help all your listeners and clients. And, we're just decided to partner up. It's a wonderful thing.
Awesome. All right. Take care. So those of you that have listened in, take some action on this, right? And I will look forward to catching you next time on Mortgage Lending Mastery.
Thank you for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Looking to streamline and launch your practice by accessing Jen's tools, courses, classes, presentations, and resources? Visit jenduplessis.com to learn about the features and benefits thousands of other professionals have experienced by enrolling in Jen's lifetime membership program. Isn't it about time you consider a coach to take your business to new heights? Contact Jen to start your application process today. Thanks again, and be sure to tune in next week.